Today on our 1994 Firan Covington, we're going to take a look at and also show you how to install the Ventline Ventadome. This is a trailer roof vent offering a 12-volt fan and manual lift. Measures 14 1/4 by 14 1/4. And it's rated for 100 cubic feet a minute. In white with birch trim, the part number is V2094SP-28. In standard white with white trim, part number is V2094SP-30. And in smoke with white trim, the part number is V2094SP-34. Now this is what our vent's going to look like installed. It's going to give you a nice aerodynamic shape. It's lower at the front, higher in the back. Now when closed, as you see it here, it's going to be about 4.5 inches from the top of your roof to the top of the vent. When you fully extended, that's going to come up to 10 inches. Now this roof vent's going to be the perfect solution for having a powered fan so we can help circulate air from the inside of our RV and blow it to the outside. It's been designed to work in a 14 1/4 by 14 1/4 inch area. It's got a translucent cover on it, which is going to allow light through, which is nice. This is in our bathroom, so it's nice to have a little bit of ambient light coming through the roof, getting down into there, just helping to brighten things up a bit. Now this vent's designed to work with roofs that are 1 7/8 inches thick, all the way up to 3 inches thick. It also offers a nice galvanized flange all the way around. So this comes down on our roof, gives us plenty of area to get it sealed. We're not going to have to worry about rust and corrosion of the flange. Now here's a good look at that flange. You can see it runs all the way up. It's even got this rubber gasket that's going to go all the way around the top. That seals right to the door on the top, or right to the lid, whatever you want to call it, to keep any of that moisture or dust from entering the coach. Well, you can see our old vent here. It's seen better days. Starting to pull down. It's been broken here, and also the actual shield on top, or the cover on top's busted out too. So we're going to get this one removed. This is what we're going to be replacing with the new vent. Typically you're just going to have Phillips screws or maybe self-tapping screws that you need to remove. Now you've typically got two parts with these. You're going to have the interior part and the exterior part. So let's get the inside taken out first. For the 12-volt wiring going up to the fan, we'll have a couple of wires there. We'll want to snip those off. And also the 12-volt feed that comes from the motorhome itself. Let's get those trimmed back. All right, now we'll go outside and we can get the exterior portion removed. All right, now to get to our vent here on the top side, we need to get rid of this vent cover. Most of the time you're just going to have it's kind of like a carriage bolt with a nut and flat washer on top. Then we can just lift up. If there's no damage to it, you'll want to reuse it, so just save your hardware so you can put it back on. To get it off, however, we're going to have to at least pull the sealant off one to determine what size of bit you're going to need. In this case, it's a square hole bit. And then we're going to go through and get them all removed. Now we're going to take some form of straight edge, whether it's like this is just kind of a trim panel tool or a putty knife, and we need to go underneath the sealant and also underneath this flange and try to get those separated. That way we can lift this up off of the top. And once you've got one side started, just going to gently pull up on it. Allow that sealant to kind of separate. And we can set that aside. Now around our hole opening here, we need to get it cleaned up. Because where our new flange sits, we want it to be nice and clean so it'll get a good tight seal. Now you can see we've got all that adhesive and all of that sealant removed. We use just kind of like some spray lubricant. It helps pretty good in cutting that, helping it come off. What we need to follow up with though is some rubbing alcohol now. We need to get all of that spray lubricant off of there so the new seal we put in place sticks really well. Now when we install our vent, we always like to use urethane sealant all the way around the edge here. We've got part number RVI KIT100. It's also going to come with self-tapping screws that we'll use to go all the way around the outside and secure our vent in place. And then some regular pan head slotted screws that we can use on the inside if we need to for that finished panel that goes in. You will need a caulk gun for this, of course. What we're going to do is a solid bead all the way around the outside. We can also use this after we have it installed, and that will be for sealing up all of our bolt heads. Now, in conjunction with the RVI KT100, we're also going to be using some putty tape. It's going to be part number CAM 25003. These are also going to have some self-tapping screws in them, just kind of doubling up on our protection here. And we're going to lay this all the way around the edge. It doesn't really stick on, I wouldn't say too well. If you press it down, it will kind of hold its position. The main goal here, what we're after, is just to sandwich it between the flange and the top of the coach. Just trim that off with a knife. Now the kit's going to include a solid 8 feet piece, so that should be more than enough to take care of the one vent here. I like that it's longer, so it gives you some options. If you've got a really wide flange, you could double it up. Whatever's going to work out best for you. All right, now with that in position, we'll go ahead and put our vent in place. Of course, we want to see how the vent's angled there. We want to make sure that that lower section is in the front, so we keep our aerodynamics the way we want them. Place that down and in, press down firmly on it. I want to see a little bit of that sealant coming around out of the edge there. And we're ready to start putting on our screws. Now you'll see we've got a good bead of the urethane that's been squeezed out from the flange. That's excellent. We don't need to go back around that. But we do recommend on each of our screw heads here, just putting some sealant down. That way we don't have any seepage issues that might come up later. All right, now we're ready to get our vent wired in. We're just going to use the 2 connections that we had previously. Strip those back. White's going to be our ground. Black we're going to use as our power. I'm going to use a couple of heat shrink butt connectors to make the connection. Part number is going to be DW05744. Just get those crimped on. Now we can use a lighter or mini torch or a heat gun. We just want to shrink these down. It's going to give us a nice watertight seal. So if we do have any seepage or anything, we won't have to worry about our connectors starting to corrode. I'll just tuck those kind of right up around the edge of the vent. And that should be covered with our panel when we slide it into position. Now we can bring our trim piece up. We're going to match that up as best we can to the old one. Sometimes you will have different size openings, so you might have a little bit of overhang, as you can see kind of where the old one was and where the new one's going. And then we're going to secure these with some of the screws that came with our RVI kit. I would just use caution not to overdo those. We just want to hold this panel in place, not necessarily secure anything with it. There we go, our Firan's working as it should. We're able to very easily open and close that. Now we just need to get our screen put in place. For this, we'll just line up those locking tabs on the edge and just kind of push it up and that'll hold it. And the nice thing about these is when you're down or you're on the road, whatever the case may be, just kind of press those tabs in. And we're able to pretty easily pull this screen down We can then wash it off, get all the dirt and debris and stuff off of it, and then put it back into position. And that's going to complete our look at the Ventline Ventadome trailer roof vent. Available in white with birch trim, white with white trim, or smoke with white trim.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at eTrailer.com.